Hi everyone, hope you are doing well and I hope you are enjoying a slightly warmer weather, especially here in UK. We are coming to Easter, which this year, 2025, is in the middle of April. So I know that many of you are possibly already on holidays, especially if you've got kids. The kids are off school for the next couple of weeks. Also, this month in April, we start our fifth cohort of trauma-informed somatic teacher and coach for women training certification. Fifth cohort. Time flies. I can't believe that it will be our fifth cohort. And I've been reflecting a lot about how this certification training has grown and how it has matured and developed. There is something so amazing that happens when women come together, when women come with the intention of holding space for each other, learning, growing together, healing together, and with the intention of really connecting from that heart and soul space. One of the things that I hear a lot, and I hear again and again and again in our training containers, is how surprised women are about how safe they feel within that container. And there is something in here that speaks to our ability to hold space and connect through our hearts and souls, even in the online space. I mean, this is one of the things that I hear also quite often, that online space is not as deeply transformative as in-person space. And this is not my experience at all. Because I've been part of containers that I experienced very deep transformation, and I've experienced it in our containers. You know, I ran 11 cohorts of trauma-informed yoga and embodied resilience teacher training, and now I'm preparing for the fifth cohort of our big training, the Somatic coaching certification training. And I know that being in an online space can be truly healing and transformative. And one of the things that, we've been discussing in the current training, and they are on module 6 right now, number 6 out of 9. So they are coming slowly to the end of the training. And it's been absolutely, absolutely amazing to watch those different changes and transformations. And one of the things that I see is that deep, profound shift in how these women are taking care of themselves, the decisions and the choices that they are making on a daily basis. The module 6, for example, is called Taking Your Power Back. And the lab 1, the first session that we had, was on self-compassion. The self-compassion that is gentle, which is the nourishing, self-soothing, healing, being kind to yourself in that most soothing way of acknowledging, witnessing, loving kind of way. And the self-compassion that is fierce, which is about saying no when everything inside of you says no, saying yes where everything inside you says yes, really stopping this cycle of overgiving, undercharging, not honoring our inner wisdom and our inner knowing. This is so common for women, and you might be able to notice that in your own life. It's not an easy process. It's not a comfortable process, because if you are used to overgiving, if you are used to self-sacrificing, and it might sound harsh, if you are used to abandoning yourself to please others, to take care of others, and this is something that you've done for a long time, then this is not an easy process to go through. And this is where this kindness comes in. This is where it's so important that we are able to take care of ourselves through this process. So one of the things that we were discussing in our training session was like, how do you know what you need more of? How do you know if you need more of that gentle self-compassion, this self-soothing and self-loving and being kind to yourself and slowing down and eating nourishing food and recovering? It's what I call this recovery stage. Or maybe you need more of that fierce self-compassion, of really working with setting clear boundaries, of really stepping into your power, of really owning your own voice and your point of view. Can you feel how different the two energies are? They're very different energies. We need both, of course, but if you find yourself in your life and in your work that you are forever self-soothing, that you are forever recovering, you are in that recovery and healing mode all the time, then that's a very clear indication that you need to make more space for fierce self-compassion, that you need to work with your boundaries, that you need to start saying no to things, and you need to start noticing where you are abandoning yourself, where you are self-sacrificing for the benefit of others. And of course, at times we need to put our needs aside to take care of others. You know, when your children are ill or your loved ones are ill, or there's something that needs to be done. But if we do it as a matter of a habitual behavior all the time, then that needs to be addressed. Otherwise, nothing is going to change. Yeah. So ask yourself, are you spending most of your time in that recovery mode? Nervous system regulation, self-healing, spending time on your own because you are too overwhelmed and too stimulated to actually do anything? Then that's an indication that you need to really pay attention to fierce self-compassion. When I think about how we grow and how we express our unique gifts, our passion, our wisdom, how we live our lives, how we work, is that there are those three different stages. The recovery stage, a recovery mode where we are recovering, when we need to really understand how we do what we do, our nervous system. We need to learn practices for nervous system regulation. We need to see how habitually we are reacting and how we are doing what we're doing. That's the foundational work. And many approaches miss it out completely unless you are in a real dire straits and you're going into therapy. So that's that more therapeutic approach. That it's like recovery and healing, recovery and healing, recovery and healing. And we can get stuck in that space of forever recovering and healing. We can move into the other stage, the next stage, which is this stage of empowerment, feeling empowered, taking our power back. And that's when we have to do things in a different way. We have to set clear boundaries. We have to really take full 100% responsibility and accountability for the choices and decisions that we make without blame. That's where the self-compassion comes in, the fierce self-compassion. We have to do things in a different way to what we were doing if we were in a recovery and a healing stage. So one builds on top of the other. If you just try to, I see it all the time, that people start to step into this empowered stage without really understanding about nervous system and the physiology, without having ways of resourcing and really finding this sense of stability and safety within themselves. That's the missing piece, the foundational piece is usually missing. Then that's built on a shaky ground. But ultimately, for me, and this is what we do in our training certification, we don't want to stay just in the empowerment stage. We want then to build on that. So the foundation of the nervous system regulation, recovery, healing, empowerment stage, clear boundaries, taking your power back, finding your voice. We then want to shift into the potential stage, to build on those and go into the potential stage. And that goes beyond the identity. That goes into the soul alignment. That goes into who you are and who you want to become. That is really sharing your gifts, sharing your wisdom, sharing your unique point of view from, not from your psyche and your ego, but from your soul. That's where we connect truly with our unique purpose. That's where we build the business that is aligned with our definition of success, that goes beyond just a thriving, full, and financially stable business, into creating our own framework, into creating something that is this completely unique blend of everything that you learned, everything that you experienced, your unique perspective, your unique voice and point of view. And that's a real mix of that soul-led purpose, soul alignment that comes through you, that goes beyond just who you are and what you know, that comes through inspiration. So inspired in spirit. That comes from life itself. I call it life. You can call it something different. You can call it the universe. You can call it life energy. You can call it prana. You can call it divine. You can call it even God. You can call it pure consciousness, unified consciousness. You can call it whatever you want. It's this energy that permeates everything, that is everything. And then the ideas, the inspiration in spirit comes through you much easier, and that's what you share. So can you see how, if you are in a recovery and healing stage and mode all the time, it's much more challenging to jump into this very different level of vibration and presence that comes from the potential. But you can get there through doing the foundational work, through then taking back your power and then opening to the potential. It's much gentler, much easier way. And this is the journey and the path that we are on in our trauma-informed somatic teacher and coach for women certification. We start with understanding our needs, with understanding the nervous system and the physiology, understanding how we do what we do and how our clients do what they do, being able to really read somebody's presentation and their body language and their communication and their nervous system state, being able to really take care of our needs and cultivate the embodied presence. So then we hold space for somebody else, being able to really do this work, to embody this work, and then shift into empowerment, the state of empowerment, i.e., I have my power back, not forcing, not pushing, not doing it harder, using lots of techniques, but really being in that state of presence to then look and open to the potential. And so really understanding this stuff is so important. It's absolutely life-changing. And if you listen to any of the kind of conversations that I have and that I recorded that are on the website and on this podcast and as videos, wherever you are listening or watching this, if you listen or watch to those conversations with the participants of our training, they say it so beautifully. They always say that it's life-changing. It's a different way of being, different way of living, different way of working. Nobody can do it for you. People can guide you, and this is what our training certification does. I guide you through it, through the process. I give you practices and teach you practices to help you see things in a different way. I teach you processes that really help you to make that shift from the state of recovery to empowerment to potential. But ultimately, it comes from within you. Ultimately, it comes from what is already within you, but maybe has been covered over by your experiences. And so it goes beyond our environment. It goes beyond our behavior. It goes beyond your skills and capacities. It goes beyond your beliefs, beyond identity, into your soul level. But if you try to jump straight into your soul level and don't do the foundational work of the nervous system regulation and on the taking your power back, it will not be embodied and it will not be rooted deeply in who you are as a human being. So I hope that makes sense. If you are interested in really understanding a little bit more of that work, explore it through the podcast or through the videos. There are many other episodes that I talked about this, but for me, what's really interesting is how over the last 5 years, it feels like I've been on my own journey. I've done a lot of work around the recovery, around the healing, around the nervous system regulation. And once that's been done, then naturally it shifted in a very different way into that embodiment and empowerment stage. And then it shifted into the potential on that soul level. So within our training, I teach you the coaching model that is called the Soma-Psyche-Soul Coaching Model. And it takes you through this journey. It helps you understand how becoming a human being, and especially a woman within our today's society, can take you on a different journey into feminine wholeness without slipping into shadow, without disowning parts of yourself, without gaslighting yourself, without doing all these things that are easy to do if you don't do foundational work. So thank you for listening today. I really hope that made sense. I'd love to hear what you think about this, what your own experience is. And if you are interested in joining our next cohort of trauma-informed somatic teacher and coach for women training certification, follow the links to the website. Let's connect and imagine where you could be in 1 year time, how you could be relating differently to within yourself, how you could be making decisions and choices from a different place, from much kinder, much more embodied, much more regulated space, and how you could support your clients and make the most amazing impact in your clients' lives and within your community and the world. If that resonates, let's connect. For now, take care of yourself and enjoy your Easter spring break. Take care for now.